Hey guys, welcome to Marketing Cheat Guys. Thanks for joining us here today. I have Darren Hanser, who is a marketing strategist and copywriter, working with us today. He's going to come on, share some tips, tricks, and hopefully his experience on how he scaled up his business and how you can scale up your business. Darren, thanks a lot for joining us here on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Stuart.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this business?
Oh man, well, first of all, the way that I got into this business is a little bit convoluted. So right now I'm basically a copywriter and strategist. So I work with a lot of information publishers, local businesses, a lot of guys that sell supplements, even information publishers that have supplements as part of their offering, writing sales letters, video sales letters, things like that. And I kind of came into this business from kind of the side, which I think a lot of people do. I was actually a financial planner for like 10 years in Toronto, but I was always on the marketing side. So I was basically working with local financial advisors on helping them find ways to improve the results they were having with their clients. So I was doing technical support, but also marketing support where it would really help them create unique offers for their client base. So whether they had, a client that was a doctor and they needed to differentiate what they were offering from another financial planner who was competing for the same business, I would work with them as a strategist and kind of find a way to, perfect their offer, make it unique so that there was hardly any competition when it came down to actually making that pitch. So I was able to work with some of the top advisors in the city and did that for 10 years. That's what I went to school for. But then we had some issues financially in the family, and I needed to make some extra cash, right? And like a lot of people do, it's funny. Like I was helping people with their money, but I was I was still in a job, and I had a good situation happening, but it wasn't the entrepreneurial journey that you see a lot of people having, where I wasn't really in control of my income. Right. So I was kind of capped, and we had a lot of things coming up family wise, and I had to find a way to earn some income on the side. So like a lot of people do, I started looking online for different kind of ways to do it. I found eBay, I found Amazon, I found affiliate marketing, network marketing, all you find that world of everything. And I kind of fell down the path of affiliate marketing, and I was selling other people's products. But I learned the skill that I learned how to do early on was build email lists, and that's what I was taught to do. I was taught to build an email list and send emails and sell other people's products. And that's the platform that I learned and the process that I learned. So over the years, I learned how to do that, and I just kept sending emails and writing and learning how to just get better at this new skill that I was learning. And then in April of 2014, I believe it was, I lost my job. And within the interesting thing was I had this skill set that I'd been learning for a few years. So within like 30 days, I had replaced my income from my full-time job doing copywriting, affiliate marketing, and ultimately just applying the skills that I'd learned. So it's kind of how I got into this. And then I got noticed by a few people who were running these companies who were selling offers, and they asked me if I could write for them, if I could be their copywriter, if I could do the emails for them, if I could, write video sales letter scripts, if I could help their affiliates kind of learn marketing as well. So I brought on to train a few people, and ultimately I became the copywriter for a couple of affiliate offers that were online. And now I kind of just through relationships transitioned into meeting a lot of people that sold supplements and in larger affiliate publications, and that's just what I do for a living now. And it's kind of a very sideways way to come into this business, but I think a lot of people do it people that are doing it well have generally have interesting backgrounds that they can pull from. So that's basically my intro to this business. Yeah.
Awesome. So trial by fire. So when you came in, how did you cultivate those relationships? Like, how did you find those first clients? Was it just because you were an affiliate and then you started talking to the business owners, and that's how you made that connection to start to land those clients that were paying you to actually practice your trade of copywriting?
Yeah, it's it's funny because at the beginning I was an affiliate, so it was eat what you kill, and if you don't make sales with what you're sending out, there's no commissions coming in. Right. So I had to basically learn as much as I could. And what I realized is there was a way to differentiate yourself in a sea of other people selling the same stuff, right? So you see Facebook ads, you see emails coming in your inbox. Everyone is selling the same sort of thing. There's the same message that's coming through. There's the same end result, but it's ultimately I learned how to differentiate myself within the same messaging, so that if someone had 3 messages, they would respond to mine versus the other 2. Nice. And that's the skill that differentiates someone that can get results and someone that struggles over time, right? And it's the same thing with selling anything. I learned through that period of time, like, no one's really unique unless you make yourself unique and you find that little tidbit that's going to help. So that's how I got noticed by, I guess, the guys that were running the companies, was saying, okay, well, people are using his emails. People are copying what he's doing.
Sure.
Why don't we see if we can have him kind of do the stuff for us? So we did a test project, and it was a live event that was happening, and they said, we're going to bring you in, you have full reign over our email database for this weekend. We want to see how many live stream tickets you can sell to this event. Okay. So they were doing an event and they were selling live stream tickets. And I said, okay. And so I had 96 hours to do a promotion. I basically did this promotion. I think it was $96,000 in live stream tickets that weekend.
Awesome.
So after that weekend, they said, okay, well, you did a great job, and we want to offer you like a retainer to come on and basically do all of our email marketing. So for I think it was 3 years, I was doing all of the email marketing for a platform that probably did a couple $100 million in sales. So it was an interesting commitment, and it was fun. And through that, the relationships were built in a couple of different areas that actually spawn every part of my business now. So kind of like everything I can trail back to like 1 or 2 relationships that's been created.
Awesome. So what were some of the early challenges, right? I mean, there are a lot of people who, are earlier in their journey than you are, in terms of either they're about to lose their job, they want to leave their job, they're kind of half in, half out of the entrepreneurial lifestyle. So what were some of the challenges and adversities you faced when you first became full-time?
Well, it's when you first become full-time, you realize that there's nothing to back you up, right? There's no parachute, there's no, net that you can fall back on. And that feeling is both a very exciting feeling. There's a huge adrenaline rush when it comes to that.
Yep.
But then also when you have like a wife and 2 children, you realize there's a lot of responsibility that comes with that as well, right? So I think the main issue was self-belief, number one, in the ability to actually do this and have people paying you for it that you can get results for. I think a huge issue in like any service-based business where you're actually taking someone's money and promising a specific result is that there must be a belief that you can actually provide that result. And if there's not, your work is going to suffer, and eventually you're not going to want to chase new business because you don't believe that you can actually provide what you are promising, right? So I think that was the biggest hurdle, was overcoming the limiting belief of, okay, someone's paying me their money, and something needs to happen on the other end. And of course, there's a lot of different elements, especially when, as you know, you deal with people that are running traffic, they're doing SEO, they're running Facebook ads and things like that. There's so many other elements into getting results for someone versus just what the one element that you're doing. But it's still that feeling, I don't think, ever goes away, that is like, okay, I gotta perform here, right? And thank God I had a few great clients that were already kind of set up in a way where it wasn't all relying on me, right? It wasn't like if Darren fails, the whole business fails. It was, I was able to, create some great results for where we were. And then in the interim, make sure that I really honed in my skills and I really got the education and I really put in the work so that feeling is never gone. It's still there today. But it's a little bit lighter in the background. And now I have a process and a skill set that I can fall back on and say, okay, when I want to get this result, I need to follow these 10 steps. And in every promotion that I do has to include all this. And if it doesn't, I know that the results are probably going to wane. But if they do, there's a high chance that they're going to get a result. So I think learning a process, learning a system for creating response, from potential clients, from an audience that that doesn't know you already, that is what kind of eliminates a lot of the self-doubt. So like systems will overcompensate for any self-doubt you have.
Absolutely. So, I mean, that's an interesting point. So a lot of people watching this today are selling marketing services, be it SEO, PPC, Facebook ads, content, social media marketing, whatever they're selling, they're all basically facing this exact same issue, right? They're trying to direct some kind of communication to potential business owners and trying to get them to know, like, and trust them and ultimately pull the trigger and try their services. So let's dive into that. Do you see a lot of marketing out there? Like you said, you had to differentiate yourself using similar product, but differentiate the message. What are some things that you see out there, either mistakes that you see very often that marketers are making and or opportunities that maybe you can drop some knowledge that will help them craft their message in a way that's more compelling for their audience?
Okay, that's a great question. So I'll give you a couple of examples. Okay, there's really three ways that you can differentiate yourself. And when I say differentiate yourself, it doesn't really have to mean differentiating you as a person, but it's ultimately creating a reason for a new prospect to believe what you're saying, right? Because in the world that we live in, any business owner, if you're selling them marketing services, SEO, Facebook ads, Google ads, anything that you're selling them, and in my case, copywriting, for example, copywriting is a little bit different because I can sell someone on what we're doing. I can show them examples of what we've done in response and sales of other related products. Okay, I can say, look, we ran a promotion in this vertical and it got this kind of response. And this is what I will do for you, and I'll basically, let's see what kind of response we get with yours, right? Copywriting is an interesting model because my process is my process. I can tell them what I do,
sure.
But ultimately, it's the result that counts, okay? Which is for everybody. But before you can actually produce a result, there's kind of a couple ways that you can help someone believe what you're saying so that they'll even give you a shot to get them a result, okay? So in the world we live in right now, anyone can go online and read 1,000 articles about SEO. They get pitched probably 5 to 10 times a day on different local marketing services in their inbox. They get direct mail being sent to them. They have display ads being sent. They have seminars happening in their offices. They have some guy whose cousin, just took, a course online and he's now like a certified PPC guy, and he wants to run their operation. And then you have these Google certified people. You have like all these different people that are challenging, not challenging, but they're basically going after the same clients.
Pitching,
okay? Yep. They're pitching everyone.
Yep.
So the one main concern that someone has is like, why should I believe you, right? So what makes you different than the 10 other guys lined up in the hallway waiting to show me their pitch for what they're going to offer? And we're instead of commoditizing what you offer, okay, it's important to create a system around it. So if you're sitting in front of someone, and we do this in selling really any product in a market that is saturated, that has a lot of claims being made. So if someone's coming to you and saying, look, I can get you on the top of Google, I can get you, 50 clicks a day to your website, I can get you X amount of things. Everyone's saying that. Okay, there's nothing new, and everyone's like, okay, whatever. Okay, I can get myself, 50 clicks a day, right, or 5,000 clicks a day.
Sure.
So what you need to do is offer a unique reason for them to believe you. So the way that you do that is create a system, create a patented, trademarked system for what you're offering, right? And this is nothing new. We've been doing this for 100 years. People have been creating a unique reason for someone to buy what they're buying, right? Every single Tide, package that you have has a unique reason to buy. We have this pod. It has time release. It has, it has like dish detergent that takes away the spots on your china, right? Oh, this one, works. It's time release, so it's actually going to work better, right? Everything's got a unique thing, right? You have to find what yours is and explain it. Okay, tell someone, say, look, when we come into your business, we're going to use the 5T protocol, right? And that means that we have a testing phase, we have this phase, we have this phase, we have this phase, and at the end of that phase, we know exactly what we're going to do, and we come up with a score that we need to apply to your business. And if you are a 6, that means that we have to run Google AdWords, that means we have to run Facebook PPC, and we need to bring in a copywriter in order to optimize what you're doing. Okay, but we can't do that with everyone. We need to do that with your specific business, because this is like the 5T protocol for local laundromats.
Yep.
Okay, so it's a specific audience, it's a specific formula that you're having. So if you come into someone and say, well, we have this formula and it works specifically for laundromats in your area, then they have a reason to believe what you're saying, right? Instead of saying, you know what, I'm going to do Google AdWords, and I'm going to have you rank for local laundromat, right? Everyone's doing that, right? No one has this formula, and no one can compete with that, right? So by having a unique way to explain what you're offering gives you credibility,
sure,
and it gives you it allows you to cut through the noise of all the other people, right? That's one way. The other way is by ultimately providing results, right? So I mean, social proof goes a long way.
Yep.
So what I did at the beginning was I got people results.
Yep.
Right? I was getting results for myself. I ran ads myself, built my own list, put my own money on the line, and got results. And then I was able to say to them, look, I'm basically doing X, Y, Z. Why don't we try to do this with your list?
Right.
Okay. And what happens there?
Sure.
So that's the other way to do it, is by ultimately putting your money where your mouth is, right? And spending some time up front, creating case studies, creating success stories, creating things like that you can actually then go and sell, right? And what you can do then is you package both, and you say, look, here's what we're doing for people in your industry using this protocol.
Right.
So we're going to get you X amount of leads per month because of this protocol. And without this protocol, you're flying, blind. And everyone else that's talking to you is basically, there's no rhyme or reason to what they're doing. Anyone can promise you anything. We have a system to do it, and we're going to be able to show you each step of the way how that's going to work, right? And it elevates the trust, reduces the objections, and answers a lot of questions all at once. Like, why should I believe you? Have you done this before? What's your process? How do I know that we're getting results? What does a result look like? Okay, what does it actually look like when we're getting results, right? How do I know? And when you have all that in place, it's a lot easier to explain exactly what you do, and you can articulate what your offer is so that anyone can understand it, right?
Absolutely. I mean, echoing what you're saying, it seems to me that a lot of marketers make assumptions. They assume that their clients know what they know, and they don't, right? And I've actually heard this with some of my coaching clients where it's like they're delivering results and they're stoked about the fact that, like, hey, we hit this. They should be like dancing in the streets. Yeah. And I'm like, the fact that you think they should be dancing in the streets and they're not, it should be an indication to you that really what's happening is you haven't defined what the win is, and they're not in agreement. right? So pulling together that signature solution that has the predictable steps to take them from point A to point C, using that unique mechanism or protocol is really what we as marketers need to craft. And I mean, this is obviously more your area of expertise, but certainly it falls in line with what I've seen in terms of scaling up my businesses. I think I've accidentally stumbled into it, but it is exactly that, where it's, you come up with that non-commodity pitch where nobody else is using the vernacular or the words that you're using, so they can't go to Google and say, hey, Google AdWords, I can buy it anywhere, but this signature system of 4 steps is proprietary to me. Yeah, cool.
And the other thing that I'd add to that is, if you can, you can say something's unique, right? And by saying something is unique, and by putting and wrapping a process around it, it does make it unique, right? It gives people the belief that, okay, you know what, this is what's going to happen. I know what the future looks like, because people don't like to be uncertain about what tomorrow looks like.
Sure.
Okay. And if you say to them, I'm going to start running ads for you, and then a week later they're like, hello, what's going on? I don't know what's happening. And you're like, oh, well, we're just, gathering data, and they're like, well, what do you need? What data do you need? What does that mean? And you say, well, okay, well, right now we're in the, testing phase.
Right.
And the testing phase is 1 to 3 weeks, and this is what's going to happen. And you might get a couple of results, you might not, but if you don't, it's not a problem, because this is part of our process, right?
Right.
So, that putting that in a process eliminates a lot of resistance and anxiety and an uncertainty in someone that's spending their money, right?
Right.
So the other thing that I remember, when I was in the financial space, we had a couple of different markets that we worked in, and one of them was people that were borrowing money to invest in properties, and we would wrap things around insurance policies. Like, there was this huge, convoluted tax structure. It was a big, complicated thing.
Sure.
Okay. And it was even hard for people that understood taxation to wrap their heads around.
Right.
So what we did was created a method that was easy to explain.
Yep.
Okay. We created a name for it. We said, this is the XYZ strategy, right? And it includes this, it includes this, it includes this. And at the end, this is what the end of your first year will look like. Okay. Sure. And this is the end of the second year. And they didn't need to know the details and everything like that. I think a lot of marketers love to explain how smart they are. And you want people to know how smart you are, because you spent all this time learning and optimizing and testing and tweaking that when someone asks you, oh, well, how am I going to get to number 1 on Google? You're like, oh, okay, great. It's an open window to explain how algorithms work, right? When in reality, no one really cares about the algorithm. They care that you know how to use it, and you know how to, manipulate or work with it so that it gets them a specific result, right? That's what they care about. They don't care how Google works. They might be interested. They might be a little curious, because it's kind of like, this veil of
black
secrecy
box,
that no one really understands. But the reality is they don't really care.
Sure.
So the best thing to do is find a way to explain it that is intriguing enough that also keeps your power to yourself. And you can say, look, this is we've actually perfected this platform, and we've wrapped a mechanism around it that allows us to use it for you. And all you need to do is plug in a few numbers, and it's like, boom, the results come out the other end, right? That's really what people want. They're like, oh, okay, great. I really don't want to know it, but I'm glad you do, right? That's like the best feeling in the world, right?
Awesome. So in terms of gaining this knowledge, obviously this has been a journey for you over a number of years, but I'm curious to hear what you recommend in terms of reading. Are there certain people that you follow? Are there groups? Are there courses that you would recommend for the marketing audience looking to sell marketing services if they're beginning their journey and maybe can't afford to pay a professional copywriter today, but they want to at least become more effective at packaging their messages, what would you recommend they look at?
There's a couple of books that are great. How to Write a Good Advertisement by like Victor Schwab. It's super old, and it's written. It's very interesting language because it's so old, but the fundamentals and principles behind what needs to go into an advertisement is great. Breakthrough advertising, I hate to recommend it, but it's probably the best book on understanding how people are looking at your offer.
Okay.
So that's probably my go-to when I'm wondering about how to approach a new promotion. Okay. So if I'm wondering how is somebody right now living in their life, and how are they viewing what other offers are coming at them? So if I'm selling a weight loss supplement, what else are they seeing right now? How much do they know about weight loss supplements? How much do they know about the ingredients that are in mine? How much do they know about the other solutions and offers and ways that they can actually lose weight? What do they actually know about their world, and what do they believe in, and how smart are they? Not how smart are they, but how involved are they in knowing what they want, right? Do they know
informed?
Who I am?
Like how informed they are?
How informed are they, right, about this, right? Because at every level of awareness and sophistication that somebody has, you have to approach them in a different way. Like if someone came to my door right now and told me that, they had this new amazing feature that heats up my house, I'd be like, well, I already know about that. I've had a furnace for like 50 years, right? Thanks for the offer, but I'm good, right? But if someone came to me and said, we have this new element that you can add to your furnace that reduces your home heating costs and almost eliminates your gas bill, that's a little bit different, right? Because it's something that, it talks to me where I am. I already this guy has this, he's bought this, maybe this can help him, right? And then if you go even further and say, okay, well, here's how you can completely eliminate your furnace and, have new windows, or have this one little thing that you plug into your wall and it ultimately has some ion heating mechanism, that could be something else entirely, right? But you have to know who you're talking to. And that book, and there's a couple others that, piggyback on that. And most marketing courses out there that are on copywriting or, creating funnel, things like that, have a basis in the elements of that book. Because it was the first time that how somebody thinks and how they see impacted, it was kind of put together in one book, right? As like, here's how someone is looking at the world, and here's how you should approach them based on that. Okay. The other one is Great Leads by Michael Masterson and John Ford. And that's basically the application of breakthrough advertising.
Cool.
So it's really, how do you start a marketing message? How do you create that first, couple hundred words when you want to approach someone? And it can be applied in anything, whether it's the written word, whether it's email, whether it's knocking on someone's door, pitching them local services. It really gives you a new way to start a conversation based on where someone's at.
Ooh.
So it's applicable book to anyone who is. Did you lose me for a second?
Yeah, I just lost you for a second. You're back.
Yeah, so it's a very applicable book for anyone that wants to start conversations, whether in any medium that they're using.
Awesome. So one of the things that definitely marketers are using today, a lot of people are using it poorly, and there's a lot of spam out there, but I know that you've pulled together a lot of email marketing. So I know that you have something that you're going to be able to give our audience. Why don't you just tell us a little bit about what you have, and I'll make sure that we make it available. If they comment below the video and or in the Facebook group, we'll send it out to them.
All right. So actually, it's interesting. This is a few years old that I created this, but I was looking through it, and all the principles still work every day of the year when marketing through email or really anything that you're doing. So I created a report called 15-minute emails, and what it does is it goes through 3 principles that you need to follow in order for really anyone to buy anything from you. Okay, there needs to be these 3 principles in place wherever you are, and then I outline what I call the automatic authority formula, and in that formula, it's really 7 messages in sequence that will take someone from really not knowing much about you to wanting to purchase what you have. Okay, and this is a great thing that you can do and implement even for a client where you're saying we're going to generate you leads. It's something you can even add on as an add-on service and say we're also going to implement this where we're going to send out these 7 emails to the people that opt in for more information, and that will drive them more towards wanting to book an appointment with you, purchase your product, come into your store, whatever that is. So it's a great bonding and relationship boosting formula that works really in any niche. We've used it in probably over 22 industries. And it works every time.
Awesome. Really appreciate that. I'll make sure that we make it available. Just again, comment below if you want it. Drop a comment in the Facebook group if you have it, and I will make sure our VAs get that out to you. So let's wrap up with one question I like to ask. What's something you've spent $100 on in the last month or 2 that you're really enjoying? Doesn't have to be marketing related.
I'm gonna give you 2 things. Okay. The first one is a service called brain.fm.
Okay.
And it's an app that's on my phone as well. They have a desktop version, but it's basically a brainwave, I guess, manager.
Okay.
Where there's 5 different elements. There's focus, meditation, relaxation, sleep, and yeah, I think there's just 4. And I use it when I'm working. So I plug it in, and what it does is it's artificial intelligence based music.
Okay.
That is designed to alter your brain waves to get you into a certain state.
Awesome.
Right. So it's very cool. So I have extreme procrastination and OCD, and it's very hard to focus when I'm working. For some reason, I just find it really hard to focus when I'm working. So I plug it in, put it in my earphones, put it on for a 2-hour thing, and I work.
Awesome.
I focus, my brain change. I don't know what it does. There's a white paper on it, but it's been the most impactful app that I've used, and I bought it, and that was $20 for 3 months or something like that. And I was like, yes, I'll buy it.
Okay.
And the other thing was buying a car with Apple Play.
That probably cost you more than a couple of $100.
But I didn't even know it had it. But basically, when I plug my iPhone in, on the screen, it turns into my iPhone, and I can listen to podcasts. And literally, that podcasts have been my saving grace driving. So it's not under $100, but I don't think I paid for it in the car. So it came with the car, and it's probably the best thing because now I can listen to podcasts everywhere, and it just became my phone. I can text through voice on my screen, and it works.
I echo that. I actually just bought a new car maybe a month and a half ago and got Apple Play. And the guy was telling me that, and I was like, I don't really care about those kind of things. Yeah. And sure enough, I plugged it in, and I use it all the time. So it is great. But I'm going to check out Brain FM. Really appreciate you taking the time. Guys, if you're still watching, definitely smash that thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed yet, definitely subscribe. We're going to be interviewing entrepreneurs like Darren in the future, hopefully sharing some tips, tricks, and experience that you can take away from it. Darren, I really appreciate you taking the time with us today, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.